One question that we get asked a lot here at Nomad Capitalist is, Andrew, where is the best country to incorporate my business? I'm going to tell you exactly how I answer that question in this video. Hey guys, I'm Andrew Henderson. If you'd like to learn how Nomad Capitalist can help you with your own holistic offshore plan, you can learn more at nomadcapitalist.com. So let's talk about the best country to incorporate your company. This is an interesting question because I'm a guy in the trenches, I'm a practitioner of this stuff. I don't just preach it, I live it. And it's funny that, 12, 13 years now in the trenches, a lot of questions I get asked are, what's the best country for this? What's the best country for that? And my response, which I think is harder for someone who hasn't been doing it for 13 years to understand in some cases, is, I don't know. Now I'm going to tell you the process I go through. Don't worry. I'm going to tell you the process that I go through to determine what's the best country to incorporate in. But first, let me do a little inside baseball. Folks who want to work with Nomad Capitalist, we have a basic application process. We have a lot of folks who would like to work with us. Unfortunately, we can't help everyone, so we want to get a little bit of information on people. You can go to our website, you can fill out the application, and my team or I will get in touch with you. And so I had a call with someone recently, which doesn't happen very often because most people I talk to, we just get right down to business. But his question was, well, before we get into business, Andrew, I want to know what your strategy is. Here's my situation. We talked for about half an hour. And he said, well, what's your idea? I said, quite frankly, I don't know. It's not because I don't know the answers. It's because there's a process to go through. He said, well, but I talked to a guy in Switzerland who said that he has an exact strategy. I said, yeah, because the guy in Switzerland has the same strategy for everyone. He's in Switzerland. The answer is Switzerland. Nobody in Switzerland is going to sell you Panama. Nobody in Switzerland is going to tell you that Malta is the answer. They have the same strategy that largely gets recycled. Yes, of course, it's not the exact same strategy. And I'm not saying that these people are just copying and pasting everything. But in my perspective, if you want to know the best country to incorporate, you've got to look at every country. And so what I brought with me is a list of some of the questions that we ask folks to figure out what is the best country to incorporate. Because the simple answer is there is no one best country. Now, again, you call the guy in Panama, he's going to tell you Panama is the best country because not only is that his interest, but that's just what he knows. Okay, it doesn't mean it's bad. I grew up, with a father who's in the financial industry. A lot of guys in the financial industry would become experts with a specific group of funds, and they would know it, and they would recommend those to their clients, and they did very well for their clients. They did not know every mutual fund in the world. It's not necessarily bad, but if you ask them about a different mutual fund, they may not know about that one. So here's some of the questions that we ask. What does your business do? Depending on the nature of the business, some countries, even if they're a great fit, may not want your business. Some of these countries that are low tax or zero tax are very conservative. They don't want certain more aggressive businesses. What's the value of the business? What does the business engage in? Is it a holding company? Do you have intellectual property? Do you have trademarks? Do you have capital gains? Do you earn income from royalties? Where is it incorporated now? Are there business partners or investors? Are you planning on going public? Do you want to take investors? Where do the investors live? Where do you live? Where do the other partners live? How are you acquiring customers through marketing? How are customers paying you? Do you accept crypto? Do you accept paper checks? Do you need to accept credit cards? What currencies do you need to be dealing in? Do you have any employees, contractors? Where are they located? Do they plan on staying in that country? Do you need to hire new people? Are you willing to hire new people for certain countries? Where do you plan on living and managing your company from? And so there's a lot of questions. There are many more that we go through when people approach us. And so, for me, the process is, if I'm going to recommend what's the best for anything, and by the way, I have a similar process for what's the best citizenship for you, for example. The bottom line is, I think that people are looking for an answer that's the best. Now, I could come and make a video, and I'm sure it'd be very popular. The best is the Marshall Islands. And everyone would go ahead and invest in the Marshall Islands. And why? I know that because I run into people in Georgia all the time who are very nice, and Malaysia and other places who tell me that they've come there because I said so. So I could say what's the best, but it may not be the best for you. I don't spend a lot of time talking about my personal strategies because they're personal, and not because I'm willing to talk about it, and we have talked about it, but I try to make this about you guys. What works for me is not what works for you. And what's funny is I've had other people who've come to us in the last 6 months who've said, hey, my buddy went to Hong Kong, for example, and he got into a lot of trouble, but I think he did it wrong. So like Hong Kong seems interesting to me, but I think my friend did it wrong. Or I've had people who were executing plans with us, and then their friend came and said, hey, like, can I get a copy of that Nomad Capitalist plan? I'll just do the same thing. And one of the guys was like, I told him no, like, because my plan is different. And so these are the kind of questions that you want to ask yourself. If you're a United States citizen or resident, another question to ask yourself is your business technically a business? Because if you're just a one-man show in the US and in some other places, you're not technically a business, and so the rules are entirely different for you. There are some cases where you may not want to incorporate overseas. You may just want to do business as a sole proprietor or some kind of equivalent. So what I want you to think about is not what's the best country, not what's the, yes, I want you to think of where can you go where you're treated best, but I don't want you to focus on the quick hit. Here's what I tell people. If you're going to go offshore, there's going to be a period of pain, both in terms of figuring it out and actually paying the cost of setting stuff up. It costs more to set up a Hong Kong company, for example, than it does to set up an LLC in New Mexico. Okay, so there's going to be some pain. It's going to be a little, as you see the money going out and you see the time going out, whether you're hiring someone to do the process for you or even worse if you're doing it for yourself. But like anything else in life, if you started a business, you had pain initially. I had a lot more pain when I was 20 years old and trying to start up a business than I do now because I was trying to figure it all out. But I pushed through and I persevered, and 5 businesses later, I think I've done pretty well for myself. And so these are the things that you need to be aware of. There's proper planning that's required. There are times when I say, just dive in. You want to live overseas? Just dive in. Put together a list of places you want to go see, go dive in. You want to dip a toe into the offshore world? Go pick an offshore bank, go open a bank account, get your toe in the water. But when it comes to tax planning, when it comes to corporate, where are you setting up your business? My goal, whenever I'm advising someone, is to try and set up a plan that lasts for as long as possible. And what I've seen is people who go for what's the best country, ask their friend. Just had a guy recently, his friend advised him to go to Singapore. Then he realized a year later Singapore didn't work. Then he went over here, then 2 years later that didn't work. We're trying to put together something right now that's going to last in the next 20 years, hopefully, or at least a lot longer than 1 year. And so take the time to slow down and ask yourself these questions. Do some introspection on not only what are your goals, what are your company goals, what are your business goals, what are your lifestyle goals, but what does the business do? Once you start asking those questions, you'll get a lot closer to your desired end result of what is the best country, and things will start to fall into place. How can Nomad Capitalist help you? 4 ways. Number 1, subscribe to our channel and click the notification bell to make sure you get our new video every day. Number 2, get a copy of Nomad Capitalist, the book. You'll learn a lot of my personal experiences over a dozen years of studying this stuff, as well as exactly some of the strategies that you can use to build your Nomad Capitalist plan. Number 3, if you're not sure where to start, but you want to come and learn from my team and I, you want to come and mingle with like-minded people, learn more about our live conference, Nomad Capitalist Live. It's coming up soon. And number 4, if you want some help right now because you've got a burning issue, you need something solved, you want to lower your taxes, get a second passport, or build the Nomad Capitalist lifestyle of your dreams, go to nomadcapitalist.com and click on Become a Client.